And hello, we are live once again. Welcome back. This is Desperate for Content.
It is.
Episode something or other. It is a Saturday. Hello, Gary. How are you doing?
Which is very spooky. So
it's episode 13, like Friday the 13th, or 13. Is it 13 Monkeys? Is that film?
Dude, isn't it 13 Ghosts, the Halloween one?
It's 12 Monkeys. That's the one I'm thinking about.
That was last episode. Last episode was I'll retroactively edit you in, making a 12 Monkeys reference in the last episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just throw it in there. I love a good monkey.
Funnily enough, we have a lot to get through just to initially start the podcast. So the first thing is we have new cover art drawn by...
Oh, we do. It's lovely as well.
In the words of Borat, drawn by Moef.
Very nice. It's just gonna be a Borat fucking impression podcast now. That's we're back. We're going back to like the fucking college days when everyone just used to like repeat Borat and Step Brothers. We're going back there. That's where we're at.
So yeah, that's exciting. It's very good. It's wonderful. I didn't even ask for it. She just sprung it upon me. I was like, yes, I'm going to use that.
It's very nice. I really like it.
It is very cool, very simplistic, very
real cool,
very understated, very lovely. Next thing, we're still going through with the spooky themed episodes for October, obviously because it's Halloweeny season, and what comes with Halloween monsters. And speaking of monsters, the UK government voted against feeding.
They're a bunch of fucking ghouls.
Yeah, providing free school meals for children over like any holiday periods and stuff like that. And basically, everyone with a heart and more than 3 brain cells was like, that's stupid. These people rely on these type of meals. So it's unfortunate it's come to this, but thankfully a lot of local constituencies and companies have like rallied together behind Marcus Rashford, who's the footballer who put forward this initiative initially, to just do it in spite of the government, because if they're not going to help us, we do it ourselves. So in the spirit of that, I'm inviting everyone alongside myself. For all my freelance articles, I'm going to donate about 50% of what I get from those to fairshare.org.uk. So if you head over to our website, it's exactly how I said it, .org.uk, not .co.uk, not .biz. And yeah, you can do loads of stuff on it. You can donate. You can volunteer if you have the time over the coming months. There's also things where you can get in contact with them to do a partnership on a fundraiser. I've seen. I was just looking through the website. They provide a lot of services. Or indeed, if you are somebody who needs help with food and stuff like that, they've got a whole section on what to sign up for, how to get it, stuff like that. So absolutely check that out.
I'm donating as we speak, my friend.
Hell yeah. We're throwing big bands to help these kids.
Throwing some bands out for the kids, baby. Yeah, you can give 50 quid. Help deliver enough food for 200 meals. That's a lot of meals.
Exactly. That's 2 takeaways for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's one of those things where I always think about this kind of stuff. Like, I don't talk too much about my like charity dealings if I do stuff for charity, just because I just don't like making a huge deal out of it, because I don't think we should be, like, need charity, you know.
Absolutely.
I feel like as a society we really, and this helps the governments and stuff, we push this like charity element, and it's like, yes, it's good because we're all doing this together, you know, we're all like putting in an effort together, but we shouldn't need to. It should be them that does it.
Absolutely.
Same thing happened with like the NHS stuff recently, right? Where it's like, oh, donate to the NHS. Like, why are we donating money to a government health service?
I mean, like, technically, we already donate with taxes and stuff like that, which is what we'd like our money to be spent on.
Like our taxes to go towards is, you know, feeding kids and keeping people healthy, but you know that just doesn't happen. But it's a great cause. Marcus Rashford, big lad, very very cool to see someone with like that much clout and with that kind of like position really just pushing for something like this that he cares about. You know, it's really good to see.
Yeah. And the weird thing about living in England is like you'll get these footballers who do wonderful things for their community, and in this case for the entire country, and the media will still paint them as violent because.
Oh yeah, of course, because they like. Well, this is the thing: is that the Tories care more about like decorum than they do about helping people. Like there was that whole thing where like a Labour MP called them Tory scum, which they are. And they were
Absolutely.
like, and that's like, didn't they come out and say like, oh yeah, we maybe you would have voted for it if we didn't get called scum?
Yeah,
Like
which is
you
never the case. They
arseholes.
don't care about us.
Like you absolute arseholes. Get over yourselves.
Yeah.
Like I hate this in politics, like in general. I hate the fact that like
Mhm.
everything always comes back to like, oh, but that wasn't very nice, or like, you need to be polite and stuff. Like, no, fuck off, no. Like if the opposition's not being nice, fuck them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, when
Like,
it comes to feeding starving children, I think politeness is the last thing we should worry about.
dude,
Is there food going
yeah,
to the children? Yes, good, great. I don't care about your
yeah, it's
feelings.
it's fucked. It's fucked. And I mean, I keep seeing these people. Like, I mean, Facebook is a hellhole anyway.
Yeah, Facebook.
The only time I ever go on there is to like look at fucking family pictures and shit.
Yeah.
Um, but
Hopefully of your own family, not some weird
yeah, no, I just like looking at other people's families and imagining how happy I would be with my own.
photoshopping yourself into that Christmas picture.
Yeah, just as the kid though, like, just putting my face over the kid.
Just whispering to yourself, "Oh, look how many presents I got this year."
Yeah, that was a good birthday, wasn't it? No, it's like I keep seeing people try to like almost justify it.
Yeah,
Like I saw someone yesterday saying like, I'm not a Tory, but I mean I instantly unfriended them after. I just don't care. I don't care to argue with these
yeah,
people. And it was like, but where are these families that are struggling? Blah blah blah. Like some of them have iPhones and stuff. Like so you're asking for proof of something, and then you're also giving a hypothetical
yeah,
afterwards. Plus, also, why does that matter? Like, I don't get this like weird um attitude of some people that if you are poor, you should sell all your possessions
yeah.
in order
Just
to
stop
like
being poor.
survive.
Just simply earn more money. Just
But yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's like, well, they have an iPhone. So, what do you want them to do? You want them to just sell all their like small possessions that give them joy in this world?
yeah.
So, like rather than have somebody just who has all the money just help out. Like, you should if you're poor and you can't feed your kids. I mean, just stop buying stuff for yourself. Stop doing anything fun.
This
Like,
could
just
probably
sell all
be
your possessions. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, this could probably be phrased and explained better than me by someone with actual
Oh,
IQ.
same.
But like, I think that one of the issues with the conservatives and their attitude towards poor people or poor people having like possessions that aren't stereotypically poor people's stuff is they lack what I refer to, probably been referred to before, but like contextual compassion. So like they'll say, "Oh, this poor person has an iPhone. They're making bad decisions. Should have bought food instead of the iPhone." Whereas as somebody who grew up poor, what happens is you can never forecast how the next few months are going to go when you're poor. You just got to sort of like live and hope you make it to the next month. So one month you could be doing fine and you think, okay, if I like earn the same amount in the next month, I can get this iPhone and I can pay for it type thing. Whereas in this climate, it's sort of like a family might be perfectly financially safe one month and then the next month they're just led to ruin by this just sort of system that we have in England where everyone's always teetering on the edge of being on the breadline and you can't forecast it because everything's so uncertain. So they could have made a responsible financial decision of like, okay, we're good now. I've bought everything for the kids, blah blah blah. Now I'm going to buy something for myself because it's been a stressful year or something. And then they lose their job the next month that they couldn't have possibly seen coming.
Yeah, and I mean this is the thing is that people. I feel like with this attitude from them and with the attitude of just I guess just a lot of like media outlets and stuff as well. The general public have like been told that like poor people are a blight. Like
Yeah,
that's exactly what all the media has always told people is that like anyone who can't afford anything is like a benefit thief.
yeah.
And that you shouldn't feel bad for them and all this shit. And it's like there's just such a lack of empathy. Like, well, I've always been able to afford food. Why can't you? Why should I pay for your food? Like, it's just simple fucking empathy.
And
Like,
everything's
holy
behind a
shit.
paywall. Education,
Like, yeah,
services.
exactly. Like, and this is why I don't get it when people are like saying that like it's the whole you say you don't like society yet you participate in it kind of argument. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if someone can't afford to like feed their kids, you can't be telling them, well, you have a nice television that you bought 6 months ago when you didn't know you were going to be like poor.
Hmm.
Well, you had that, you bought that, sell it, go
Yeah.
and sell it. Like you're asking people to just get rid of all their worldly possessions, like to scrape by, rather than just going, yeah, you know what, the government should provide that.
Yeah.
Like it's such a lack of empathy from people. They just think like, nope, you're like it's the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps shite. Like just shut up. Just like
Yeah.
please shut up. Like that's what the government should be there to look after people. Like
That's
the
the whole
government,
point. The
that's
thing.
the whole point of it. Yeah, exactly. That's why we pay taxes. Like, what do you think your taxes are going towards? Or
Yeah.
would you want them to go towards? Like a new fucking road or a Christmas tree in the town center or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But what fucks me off the most was like what they said. It was their excuse was like, "Oh, it's not the school's responsibility to feed kids." Well, in actual fact, it absolutely is.
Yeah,
If it
it
was
is.
in regular term time, that's exactly what those free meals are there to do. They're to feed kids. We're living in extraordinary circumstances. Even if we weren't in a pandemic and poverty gotten to the point where kids were going hungry across the school holidays, they should absolutely. Schools exist within our communities, and our communities' point, even in the giant umbrella of this entire country, the point of communities is to take care of their own and house everyone, make sure everyone's safe, let alone
But
children. But that's
that's
not the case.
like that's gone. Like
Yeah,
a lot of that is gone. Apart from in either like I would say religious communities, um, poor communities, and like certain sort of like cultures communities
yeah,
within the UK.
mhm,
Like they really do look after each other. There are a bunch of different cultures, a bunch of different religions and stuff that really do take care of each other
yeah,
and take care of everyone in their area. And the same goes for usually a lot of like less affluent areas too.
mhm,
Like everyone knows each other, everyone
yeah,
looks out for each other. But that kind of like community spirit, this is what the right wing just like always press on, is lost with them because they're like, no, we want individualism. We don't want like we are individuals. Like we are all the best like individuals there are. Everyone else can suck it. Is their whole thing. Like yeah, it's like
yeah,
they don't care about anyone else. They don't care about other people. It's like if you are like less well off than them, it's your own fault apparently.
yeah.
Like you didn't work as hard as them or some bullshit. Like it's ridiculous. Hopefully one day, I mean, like we're seeing in Bolivia, like shout outs to Bolivia. Fuck yeah,
Mhm,
Bolivia. Um, maybe the pendulum is like shifting a little bit in some countries.
yeah.
Like I mean, New Zealand. New Zealand's like Labour Party are fairly socialist, right? I think in
I
like their
don't know
policies and
anything
stuff.
about New Zealand politics.
I mean, Bolivia just voted in the Socialist Party
They're living
after they,
mass, baby.
yeah,
Mass.
after like fucking the Americans like put in a coup and a shitty replacement government. The citizens were like, absolutely not. Give us socialism back. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I keep seeing these memes of like this little, a picture of like an American guy with sunglasses, like, I am a Bolivian and I can tell you my government is terrible. Like, I can tell you we don't like the socialist government. Like, okay. But hopefully the pendulum swings a little bit more in that favor worldwide. Because, I mean, it's been going. I feel like we've been descending so much into like right wing stuff at this point. Either it has to swing back or it's just going to be a hellhole.
I think, unfortunately, yeah, I try not to be a pessimist because I have full faith in my city. Shout out Newcastle, working class boys. But like England as a whole is just even before like the Tories got into power. Like I grew up absolutely dirt poor. My mum and dad had to forego their own meals to feed me, my brother, and shit like that. And that was oftentimes under Labour as well. Like, but that was under Blair's Labour, which was like very just Tory adjacent. I think there's just this horrible, insidious notion in England where there's just a disdain for the poor. They'll try and sell us things, but because we're not buying what they're selling, they don't see value in us. All of the Labour MPs, you saw it when they voted on the Spy Cops bill. A lot of them abstained when they should have been protecting our rights because they don't care about us. They're all friends with landlords, and it does matter. Like it seems in England, as soon as you get over a certain threshold of earning, you just cut yourself off from the rest of England and just leave us, the rest of us, to die. type thing, and
Yeah,
it's
exactly. I
been
mean,
there since like the Industrial Revolution, possibly before that. Like, well, obviously, yeah, before that, the way we used to treat our colonies, but now we don't have any colonies to fuck about. We're just starting to cannibalize ourselves. And in the grand scheme of things, if I remove myself emotionally and remove like thoughts of my friends and family, stuff like that, England sort of deserves the fate it's made for itself. But at the same time, we have to exist in it, and it sucks.
yep, it really does. It really, really does. But it's like I mean, the Tory party themselves are just absolute scum, like ghouls of the earth. Like
Yep.
there was that MP. I've just seen it on my timeline. This like Tory MP for Devon, um, who was like caught saying some shit about like local businesses and stuff like that and free
Yeah.
meals and things like that. She's like, "Oh, I was out of context," and of course, people dug up the real context like immediately.
Yep.
And the real context is much worse because she was like, "Oh, well, good to see the local businesses have money for giving away free food, and they don't need any money from the government." Then, like, it's so scummy. Like
Yep.
they just want people to suffer. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like what turns you into that? Like what makes you growing up have that just pure lack of empathy for anyone? Like I don't understand it. I never will understand it. But you know, keep fighting the good fight, folks.
Yep.
Keep
Just
fighting the
feed.
good fight. Do what we can do.
Yep. Just feed these kids. Make sure we all take care of
Feed
each other
these
because government
kids.
certainly
Feed
won't.
these kids.
And of course, if you have already donated to help starving children in our own country, and you're looking for more ways to help, if you have even more resources to help, there's all sorts of horrible shit going on at the moment, like the stuff in Nigeria. Just help
True.
any way you
True.
can. Like, I think I was watching something on Netflix where it was David Letterman like interviewing Dave Chappelle, and he was talking about like how his community is like really progressive and stuff like that. And the
Mm.
way he put it really well. He was like, you can't change the world, but you can make a corner of it nice, and you can
Yeah,
do what you can. Like
I
even
like
if that
Chappelle.
corner's remote, like you don't have to like say if your local area, like mine, for instance, I live in a place called Forest Hall. It's pretty nice, and I don't think I need to like. There's no one starving around here, thankfully. We used to be honestly, but we slowly clawed ourselves back out of it. But there are people in other places that I don't live that I'd love to help out, which is why I'm donating the fair share and stuff like that.
And
Uh, yeah,
also don't feel like bad if you can't, you know? Like no one's expecting you to be able to. Like if you don't have money to give to like places like this, don't worry about it. Like it's one of those things I feel like people feel like when they especially when they see this stuff trending, feel really pressured to do this
yeah,
kind of stuff. If you can't like afford it and stuff, just don't worry about it. Like there are many ways that you can help out. Just talking to people even in your local area and just being like a listening ear to people can help too.
yeah.
Um it just be good to each other, you know.
A
That's the
good
main
thing,
that's the
like,
gist of it.
sort of related to my own donations, but I'm not plugging my own stuff because that would make it look like I'm profiting off whatever. But like, say, look at the types of people who are donating and stuff like that. Like, say if it there's a company near Newcastle called Cultaholic, and they cover like wrestling and stuff like that. And they've donated quite a bit to help out. I think they paid for like 1,000 children's meals recently. When you think about it, if you're looking at these company websites and stuff, your every hit to them is a good thing for their sponsors. So their sponsors are going to give them more money, and then they'll be able to donate more. So if like you see people who are donating who profit off your views on their like articles, videos, and stuff like that, you can help out by just reading an article now and then, because then that money's obviously, as you can see on their social media, being converted into helping stuff in the local area. So if you don't have the money, you could at least, I don't know, spend 2 minutes of your day just looking at a web page, and then you've contributed by proxy. Um, it's all about that's the whole thing with working together. Like it doesn't matter what little someone does or how big a gesture someone makes, as long as you do something.
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. And I mean like I'm packing my shit obviously to move. I've got like a bunch of old teas to give away to like a like clothes bank I'm
Hmm.
gonna head to in a couple of days, and like, I think it's one of those things that you never realize until you actually do it, just how much shit that you just have that you don't need
Yeah.
or never will again. Like, I was looking at these t-shirts, and I'm a hoarder. I'm a total hoarder, and I was looking at someone's flight. Maybe one day I'll wear that again. Like, I haven't listened to that band in 7 years. and it's also a medium, and I'm a big boy now. So it's just like, I am not going to wear this again. But part of me is very much like, could do though. I could use it for summer, but no, all bundled away, all in bags, ready to go, be donated. Like people can use that stuff for
Exactly.
sure, for sure.
So, with that out of the way, simply feed the kids, protect each
Feed
other.
them.
We're going to move on to another topic, and it's new music. So,
New music, new tunes. What's been going on in the tune world this week?
well, I thought the new Ty Dolla Sign album wasn't coming out for a while, but it turns out
Bang! It's out.
it's out, and it is fucking amazing. The amount
It
of
is good.
features he's managed to gather by being on everyone else's projects, boy howdy.
It is very good. There was the one with Young Thug is just like, ooh,
Mhm.
ooh, sexy. I like it. I really do like it.
I've been a fan of Ty Dolla Sign for a while, and like every time he's featured on a song, like okay, like say if there's like an album track list, and like either him or Anderson .Paak on it, I'm gonna go to that song first because my tiny monkey brain's just like, yes, that's gonna be
Yes.
good. I'm not gonna give the album time to breathe. I'll just listen to the good ones. But yeah, and it's wonderful. It's got Thundercat on it, Anderson .Paak, Kanye West, which is okay in a musical context, but when you remove him from music, it's got Future, Young Thug, as we've already said. Lil Durk's on it, which is good. Kaylani, it's just a
It's very good. It's just like it's a feature powerhouse, and I feel like it's one of those things where like Ty Dolla Sign to me is like was it Ty? It's Ty,
Ty,
isn't it?
Ty,
Yeah.
because his name's Tyrone.
Apologies. Is one of those folks that I feel like with an album like this, he's just trying to make like good, fun stuff for you to listen to.
Yeah.
And it's not like one of those things where he's like, trying to make the best rap record of all time
Mhm.
or really say, hey, look at me, I'm super, super good at this or that. He's just collecting all these features and just like, let's make some good music. Like, let's just make
Just
some
having a
good
fun time.
stuff. Yeah, and just have a good time. And like the album is like that. Like I can jam it on and I can just vibe to it. Like I was listening to it last night whilst I was playing games. Just like it's a good vibe, man. I do like it a lot. I'm trying to think of other stuff that I've listened to
What
recently
happens
that's like,
though? What happens if we're
go
both
on.
wrong and his moniker's actually thank you dollar sign?
It could be. It could be. Like that's what I think every time I say TY though. Like, I mean, thank you to money, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he probably has a fair bit of it, so he's probably not too. He's probably pretty flush, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Can imagine. But there's a video coming out, I think, as well for the song with Thundercat and stuff on.
Excellent.
Because Thundercat posted a photo the other day of him, Anderson .Paak, and Ty just like chilling in front of cars, looking drippy,
Hey.
dripped out to the maximum. I love seeing some good drip. Like as a chubby man who doesn't leave the house anymore, I love seeing some good drip and just thinking I want to be that drippy one day. I love it. Like when people just like step outside of the like boundaries of what they would usually wear or
Yeah.
what you imagine like people usually wear. Like for me, I'm very much at home. I'm very much like a t-shirt kind of guy, t-shirt and jeans kind of guy in general.
Yeah.
But I like stepping out of it sometimes, and I love those sort of like especially when it comes to people like Thundercat. My man is dripped always. He's
Yeah.
always got these like really multicolored shirts and shorts and stuff. The Dragon Ball do rag, it's like, oh, drip nation, love it. Drip or drown.
Have you
That's the
seen
question.
the cave episode with Thundercat on it?
The which one?
Kenny Beats has a YouTube series called The Cave, and he gets like artists in.
Oh yeah, I like Kenny Beats. No, I haven't seen that though.
Thundercat episode is so just insane. He drinks like 6 yerba mates or whatever you call them. And like they keep telling him to stop. It's like it's just sugar and caffeine. You need to stop. And he's like, "No, I'll just keep it." He's just screaming by the end of it, and just like playing bass really fast. And when he goes in the booth to freestyle, he's just talking about how he knows where Kenny lives and stuff. It's so good. Oh, you should watch it after we record
I
this.
like that. I was trying to think of other stuff to listen to as well. The new 21 Savage album's pretty good.
I didn't hear it.
It's Savage Mode 2. It's got one of those classic, like, old Atlanta hip hop covers
Nice.
with like the letters all in bling. You know, like I love that shit.
Excellent.
It's good. It's good. It's exactly what you would expect it to be from like a 21 Savage album. But
To be
it's
honest,
like it's nothing groundbreaking, you know. But it's good.
I didn't even know you're still making music because, like, from my preview, I mean, I'm not a follower of 21 Savage. Like, I think he's fine. But, like, ever since it came out that he was, like, from England or something, like,
He's British.
fell off the map. I'm like, speaking English really that much of a kiss of death?
That's so funny, that isn't it? But like, even though you go on his wiki page now, born in London. He's one of us.
Oh, no,
One of our own.
that's very typical of England. Like, someone was born here, and then if they're doing well,
He's,
we're like, yeah, he's one of us, but he's not. He's like, no, he's American, sorry.
he's like, yeah, no, he's not really, but
Speaking of people who are from here that are associated with being American, you know Charlie Hunnam, like the main guy in Sons of Anarchy, the blonde guy? He was in Pacific Rim as well.
he rings a bell. I mean, like his face, I can picture his face, but
Well, I found out that he's from Newcastle, which
is
was
he?
amazing. Yeah, and apparently he moved to the States when he was younger, but in like the newest Guy Ritchie film, like it's called The Gentleman or something, he's in that, and he's got like a wonderful Geordie accent, but I didn't think he'd have one because like he moved when he was really young. But I imagine he has family members, so he like got it from osmosis. But no, he sounds. It's nice to have someone doing good films that's representing us because like Ridley Scott sort of hasn't done anything in a while. I know he's remade. He didn't remake Aliens, but he made one of a really
It's like a
divisive alien film recently.
yeah. It was like wait, wasn't it? Was it Prometheus
I don't know. I've only
or
seen.
Alien?
I think
There's
I've
another
only
one, wasn't
seen.
it? Alien Covenant. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Alien Covenant, which wasn't very good from what I remember.
but yeah, Ridley Scott's from around these parts. And what I think the third one was part of it was filmed in Blythe Power Station, which used to be just up the road before it was
Blythe.
before it was torn down.
I was actually so we were discussing this last night in Discord, like artists and stuff like that that are from your local area, or you know
Yeah,
people you didn't know from your local area because either they moved away like pretty early, or they just don't really mention it or whatever.
yeah.
So I'm from a shitty town in the northwest called Blackpool. There's not much to it. We have a big tower.
But you've got a
Yeah,
whole pleasure beach.
uh, like we are very much the like tourist capital of the north, like northwest. We had like it's basically an old seaside resort that used to be big, you know, in the 1950s and stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be the place to be. It used to be very nice, and it's kind of just like deteriorated. But regardless, in terms of like celebrities and stuff, so the band Jethro Tull are from Blackpool. Didn't know
Oh,
that.
nice.
Robert Smith was also born there.
Hey.
I was looking up because I was looking for anyone interesting because like
Ah,
the usual stuff is like Zoe Ball was born in Blackpool or something, and
okay.
fucking what's his name, Ricky Tomlinson was born in Blackpool, and like you know these are like just
Veritable killer's row of celebrities.
yeah, like these are like people that you only know if you are from England. You know,
Yeah.
like, these are just like British only. Were famous for like a year or two because they had a late night telly on Saturdays or something.
Yeah.
But no, Robert Smith, born in my hometown. That made me feel good.
Nice.
Music icon. Also, the best band of that era. Much better than the Smiths.
I wouldn't say the best band of the era, but definitely better than the Smiths.
The thing is though with the Smiths, like I do like the Smiths. I just fucking hate Morrissey so much.
Yeah.
Like I really wish Morrissey wasn't part of the Smiths because I feel bad almost when I like listen to them and just think about how much of an arsehole Morrissey is.
Yeah, but you got to think you can't
Yeah, separate
exclude the
art from
rest
art.
of the
Right?
band. It's like what happened with Lost Prophets. Like the rest of the band absolutely denounced all the fucked up shit he was doing, and he fucked up their livelihood. So
Yeah, but it's like if the Smiths guitarist was a wanker, I'd feel better
yeah,
rather than the man that you're singing along with.
yeah, the
You know
face
what I
of the
mean?
band.
It's a weird feeling. It's a really weird feeling. The Cure have got some fucking slappers of tunes though.
They do. They went
Some
through like
absolute vibes.
3 different genre changes, possibly more, and just nailed every one of them. Just
God, that's king shit right there.
true king
So,
shit.
other albums that I've listened to recently, by the way, Bad Boy Chiller Crew, Full Whack, No Breaks.
Nice.
Get that on. It actually, it actually got a really good review from Pitchfork of all people.
No, like the songs I've seen from them are good. Like in like musically, they're good. It's just not my type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, apparently, Robbie Williams wants to do a collab. Like, not even kidding.
I'm not surprised.
Robbie Williams tweeted out on September 4th, Bradford crew, Bradford sound. Every time I hit the town, I go daft, hit JD and spent 5 raps. And all the Robbie Williams fans are like, okay, I don't get it. Bad Boy Chiller. Someone said Bad Boy Chiller Crew. Well, there's a lot of people who are just like, I don't get it, Robbie. And
I don't get it, Robbie. Sing Millennium again.
and someone's just commented like a load of Argentina flags.
Do you think
I
Would you
love
look
it.
to get the come to Brazil comment on their shit?
Probably. I think if like the thing with Bad Boy Chiller Crew that I like the most is that they are this like it's almost like a dead genre now, like this classic Chava sound,
Yeah.
like this like donk and all that stuff. That was the vibe, wasn't it? Like when we were younger, that was the thing. But then this whole like I don't know, like Chava thing sort of like died out in a way.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like a lot of
it,
the people I know from high school that
yeah.
were like proper, like Chavas and stuff, like trackied up and that, and
Mhm.
now like the blokes that all look the same that really hit the gym a lot and they really like Peaky Blinders,
Yeah.
and they've got the little like curly hair lid, all 3 of them.
Mhm.
But like, have you seen that? Have you seen that picture where it's like those 3 buff dudes stood in a row, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh mate, Peaky Blinders is so sick. Have you seen the
Yeah.
latest one or whatever?" Like that's pretty much what the Chavas became
Yeah.
from my high school. So that kind of thing, like that kind of sound, that kind of thing, is like almost died away. But they've managed to bring it back in a very like fun way. It's
Yeah.
very much just like fun dose of like 90s UK dance music.
Mhm. Well, funny thing about that is, I can't remember. I don't know if they're still in operation. Obviously, they wouldn't be at the moment because of COVID. But I remember when I was still in university, up until I started my first job. One of my childhood best friends was in something called the Newcastle Speed Dunk Experience, and they were selling out like local venues and stuff like that. And it was a mix of like chavs and then like, don't know what the word for it, because we used to call them hippies, but they weren't at all. It's just they used to get called that because they had long hair. But like the goth kids, like emos and stuff like that, it was like half of them were used to be chavs and half of them used to be hippies, and they just like came together for a laugh and made Speed Dunk Experience, and that just sums Newcastle up perfectly. Like just fuck it if it's bands like
Well, this is the thing about them. Like, I feel like if they were very serious and like aggy guys, it wouldn't work. Like they are just having fun. Like it's that comedic sort of like edge to it. It's that little comedic bit to it.
it's like why the
That
why the Blackout Crew was so good as well. It was very tongue in cheek.
yeah, absolutely. That is it is
Spitting
tongue in cheek
fucking
is the
lines
perfect
like
word
I'm
for
the
it.
best MC in Bolton Town Centre. That lives rent free in my mind.
It's that's the thing though. It's that comedic edge to it, and the like. Look, we're not really taking this seriously. That makes it good
Yeah.
because it's just fun party music. It's just fun stuff that they're doing.
And they're doing
I
it without trying to like emulate, because you get like those like parodies of rap, and they're always trying to emulate like the American style and stuff like that. But there's always something just nice and wholesome about like tongue in cheek, very British type, just trying to do rap, and it sounds like donk or whatever. It's like it's the same thing, like to a certain extent, like Goldie Looking Chain. Like they weren't trying to
yeah,
be a bunch
exactly.
of Welsh lads just having a fucking ball.
And it's like it's almost like I don't know if you've seen it yet. People just do nothing
Yeah.
and like corrupt FM.
Mhm.
Like it's the same kind of thing. Like it's fun. It's a very like it's a very British thing, and it's very northern as well. It's very much like northern culture.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
to be
we
honest
had
with you.
donk like the Birmingham.
Well, yeah, donking MCing and stuff like that. It's all northern, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's our thing. Like, you didn't have that down south, baby.
No, he had
Just up
China,
north,
you know.
lads.
The
Yes,
bass
Wigan
line is
Pier.
fucking amazing as well. Like Man's on Road is an
Oh
absolute
yeah, it is.
song.
It is funny as. But like I love like reading the comments on this stuff where it's always just like just fingered me bed to this song. It's like just pushed me nan down the stairs to this song. Why'd you do that?
And fucking Acker and Greg's to this.
That rapper guy isn't fat, he's just full of lyrics. I'm gonna say that about myself from now on. I'm just full of lyrics, lad.
Full of bars, but not
Oh,
candy bars.
the band manager's called fucking Dr. Google. Oh, I love it, man. It's just fun. It's just fun stuff in it. I just
yeah.
banter tracks, good beats as well. That's the thing. I think it's good production and good beats that you can like dance to.
Mhm.
Just lovely shit, man. Like it.
Well, speaking of lovely shit and things you
Ooh,
might just encounter in the north, let's talk about cryptids.
encounter a lot of those in the north, to be honest. I
Oh, well,
mean, you could probably get more down south, though. To be fair, because I mean, the
maybe,
majority of
but I'd
old
say these
Southerners.
days, like the sort of lingering sort of mysticism in like the UK, which has all been stamped out by this Tory Hell Island. It's like when you think of like mystical things or like more like
Like
Celtic
Bigfoot.
things, you're always going to think of Scotland and Ireland before you think of England. England just
Oh
seems
yeah,
very
Scotland and
sort
Ireland are where like the
of,
mythical creatures roam, isn't it?
yeah.
Like Nessie and probably some form of Bigfoot.
Like one of my favorite memes of recent times is just like, oh, fairies and regular folklore, let's dance around the toadstools. Fairies and Irish folklore, give me your fucking kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the old from old Irish sort of stories and that, a lot of them are very vicious.
Yeah,
And you find that a lot with also things that like Disney have adapted
yeah.
to be like kids stuff and like wholesome characters. The ones that are adapted from fairy tales, the fairy tales are dark as shit. Like the fairy tales are pretty grim. Isn't Peter Pan like a murderer or something?
Oh yeah. I can't remember what the name of the book is, but somebody wrote a book from the perspective of Captain Hook. It's really good. It's like because apparently like Captain Hook was one of the kids that Peter Pan brought along, and it's pretty rough because like he has his like crew of lost boys and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like James does, who's like Captain Cook's real name, Captain Cook, Captain Hook, completely different captain. And like by the end of the book, because the whole thing is, whenever there's a dispute between the Lost Boys, they have to fight in this pit, and they find out that like under the pit is a ritual thing that keeps Peter Pan young, and the only thing that keeps him young is the blood of like young boys. So like he instigates fights between the boys, so one of them will kill the other one in this like gladiatorial ring and keep him young. And like James finds out and like decides to take the lost boys away from him, just like, look, I'm gonna take care of these guys. Like you're gonna kill them, stuff like that. And then Peter Pan leads pirates to like come back and like shoot cannons and like there's kids getting ripped apart by cannonballs and stuff. Um because the reason like it's a whole convoluted thing like the reason there's pirates is because they come to this island like Peter Pan leads in there and it just completely breaks their minds and then become like aggressive adults, or they die to feed them.
Yeah, because like they're not allowed to grow up, are they?
Uh,
So just like you just kill them. Like it's fucked up. Fuck Peter
yeah,
Pan.
and like they accidentally bring a girl to the island and like Peter gets jealous because James falls in love with the girl, and then he orchestrates events to have her violently eaten by crocodiles, and that's why
Christ.
Luke's scared of the crocodile because he saw his bit stuff get mutilated by one.
God, that is a little bit sinister, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
it's
Just
wild.
just just a wee bit.
But
A
I
wee
was
bit
listening
sinister.
to a podcast not too long ago about like fairies and stuff, and
Mm.
apparently, then even though they can get pretty fucking hardcore and like murder children and stuff, they're not actually evil. They're just so neutral that they're just sociopaths. So they like attach
Well,
themselves to like a kid and expect attention from the kid at all times because they're narcissistic. And then once the kid like grows up or whatever or tries to grow up and stuff like that, they either kill them or just kidnap them.
That's so odd to me.
Yeah,
Like fairies to me have always been like little helpers. You know what I mean? Like little friendly helpers. I'm looking at a bunch of like most known cryptids and stuff now.
yeah.
And obviously, there's like the classic stuff like Nessie and like Sasquatch and all this stuff.
Mhm.
But what the fuck is there's one called skunk ape that's just like it just looks like a gorilla. It's like from Florida. Skunk ape. God,
Has, it got,
there's so many weird ones.
has the skunk ape got any like signature moves? Does he
It doesn't.
punch
Let me have a
people
look
in
at the
the face?
article. Oh, also known as the swamp cabbage man.
That was
That's so
definitely
weird.
just a dude with really bad hygiene.
Well, that's what it says. It's named for its appearance and unpleasant odor. It's reported to resemble the Sasquatch, but shorter.
Yeah,
Long patches of fur similar to an orangutan, and is often described as a motley, rusty red color. I'm pretty sure they're just talking about an orangutan.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, someone in Florida saw an orangutan walking around at
Especially in
one point.
places like Florida, where you get these dudes who buy like well, you saw it in Tiger King. They'll buy these huge plots of land and then just bring over exotic animals because it's very temperate there. And then obviously they can't keep up the payments. So I can't imagine there's been no cases of someone just saying fuck it, just let the orangutan go. We can't afford to keep feeding this guy.
It's like yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that just sounds like an orangutan. I'm just reading it. It's just like this just sounds like an orangutan.
So
They're just talking about like it's got orange fur. It's got like it looks a little bit like an orangutan.
in terms of cryptids, though, James, do you believe in
Go
any of them?
on. I kind of vibe with Sasquatch. I feel like Sasquatch could be a thing for sure.
Yeah, the thing that makes me feel like Sasquatch either did or does exist, may have probably died out by now. But like, it's not just a case of like, oh yeah, he's in the woods in America and stuff like that. But it's like places that would have been disconnected from America until like a certain point have their story
Yeah,
by people.
like part of me just thinks that like if there was like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot or something like that, it was probably just like a Neanderthal. Like there's probably just a bunch of like Neanderthals, I guess, that wouldn't have just adapted or evolved at all and just like chilled out being like cavemen.
Or maybe it's just like a gorilla with like really powerful legs.
That's the thing. Though, it could just be monkeys. It literally could just be
Gorilla with great
monkeys.
posture. Because like you see them and they're like hunched over, they've got the tiny little feeble legs, and that's why they run with their arms. But this
But
gorilla have done leg day non-stop, so now you can
I think
stand.
that's what makes me like almost think that they could like it could be a thing out of any of them because it is just so similar to like a primate.
Yeah,
Like it just seems like a hairy human, or just like a step before being us,
yeah,
like one step in evolution behind us kind of thing. Things like Nessie and stuff like that. I mean, like Nessie, to be honest, the same kind of thing. It could just be some sort of like really old like aquatic dinosaur.
yeah.
I feel like that kind of stuff is probably not true. Like they're probably long dead, like regardless.
Yeah, especially living in a lock and having a consistent food source for that amount of time to sustain something that big. I don't think it's possible. Although I'm not a biologist. It might be. Um, but yeah, and I think if something that big was living in a lock, especially if humans coming to try and see it, somebody would have found it by now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I think that's the thing with a lot of them. I feel like the way technology has come along, if these things did exist and were still alive, people would have just tracked them down already.
yeah,
Like there would have been like loads of people with infrared cameras and stuff like that, and like thermal shit going into the forest to find Bigfoot.
yeah.
Like we would have Bigfoot like on Ellen at this point or something like that, just so tell me how have you been?
I tell you what, cryptid's contentious for me, which is terrifying if it's real. But
Hmm.
also, I could see it being not real at all. Is the kraken?
Yeah, because cause I think this is the thing, like, with the trend that we're getting here is that big animals, like things that are basically just animals but big,
Yeah.
could be a thing, like for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I feel like we would have seen it though. Again, I feel like we would have seen more of them, right?
Yeah.
Like. But if it was an octopus, it would be super weird though. If it was like a really fucking big octopus, they're
Yeah.
just like, oh,
The thing is
I,
with stuff from the seas, you never know because that thing's deep and we haven't explored even
that's very very true.
any of
Like
it.
the I think the sea is the scariest like place on the planet.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the
It's
sea
definitely
scares the
not.
fuck out of me.
It's definitely scarier than space. Like some people are like, oh, space is scary because everything's infinite and you're just a small, tiny speck and stuff. Or like, yeah, but it's there's nothing up there. Like
Yeah, there's no like
for
immediate
the most
threats
part,
like
yeah.
in space, right? Like you're just drifting about in
Just
the
a
great
large
unknown.
expanse until you find something dangerous. Whereas the sea is just like, I don't know what
The
the
sea
fuck's
has
happening.
many different threats.
Yeah,
Like it's not just the stuff below; it's the actual just like atmosphere of it itself, like the high pressure as well. The lower you go,
yeah.
the fact that if you just if you're in like a little vehicle, oh, there's some water inside. Okay, I'm dead. I'm gonna drown. Like I'm done. It's just so like uninhabitable. Like
But
you just
at the
can't do
same
anything
time,
down there.
like when people say, "Oh, look how ugly this blobfish is," and then I was reading something about like how they're not meant to look like that. It's just when they're brought up to a different pressure, they just their body just goes,
Is that the one that looks like a sad old man?
yeah. But the thing is with
Yeah.
the kraken is like you don't hear anything about anything like that like these days. So the reason why I think it could be entirely made up is because I maybe think it's just a legend where some guy fucked up delivering something across the sea. It was like, oh yeah, we're attacked by a giant kraken, and then that just became the go-to excuse to be like, oh no, it is real. I also failed this delivery because of that type thing. Because that's a very human thing to do.
That is the thing, isn't it? Like it's also, as we've seen in recent years, incredibly human to like say something and then have everybody else be like, could be true. Like, could be true that. Like, someone could have said, yeah, I saw it. And that's just passed down years and years and years. Like, yeah, I saw this giant monkey man in the forest. And
Mhm.
everybody's like, as they're growing up, the parents are like, look out for the giant monkey man in the forest. Like, look out for him. He'll get you. He'll get you if you don't eat your sprouts. Like, fair enough.
And there's also that thing of like people hallucinating when they're in situations of extreme fear. So if you're in the middle, especially in like the days of like wooden ships and stuff, where you get the most stories about krakens and stuff, if you're in the middle of a giant storm on this rickety old boat, which
Oh yeah,
was
fuck with
designed
your
to
head,
be
wouldn't it?
held together, so it would fuck with your head. You'll see like shadows as lightning strike and stuff like that. And also, or just seeing one thing and mistaking it for another. So you might see a big fuck off whale, and one of the crew's going to be like, "Oh, that's a giant whale. Seen one of those before. Let's avoid it." Then someone else is just like, "Oh my god, it had a billion tentacles on the back. Did you see the tentacles?" Everyone's like, "No, it's a whale." And they're like, "No, it was a kraken. I saw." Because they were just scared of the size of the whale, and we're just inventing more things to make it terrifying. Um,
Such a weird thing to me, like thinking about hallucinations and shit.
yeah.
Like, do you reckon you ever have hallucinated?
Uh, Not on like a grand scale, but I've like seen things like out the corner of my eye, just like seeing things that aren't on a table. Like I'll see like a square object, like a book or like a remote or something that I think's on the table, and I'll actually look in that direction, and there's nothing there. Uh,
Yeah, little stuff like that. I feel that. I feel that. I'm just wondering if like if something was, you wouldn't know really, would you? Unless you really just did a double check or went to investigate. Like you wouldn't actually have confirmation that it was or wasn't real.
True, but I don't think I've ever been in a situation that's got me so stressed that hallucinating because it can be brought on by like extreme emotion as well. And I don't do any drugs, so I can't hallucinate in that vein. But like when you think about people in the desert who see oases and stuff like that, and I can't think
Yeah, I
of
mean that makes a lot of sense, doesn't
I
it?
can't think of
It
anything
makes a
more
lot of sense.
terrifying. You walk into the desert, you're thirsty as shit, and then there's the Gallagher brothers there, and you're like, oh no, how could this possibly
I
go?
mean, seeing the Gallagher brothers anywhere would probably ruin my day, to be honest with you. I'm not wearing me fucking mask. Like, oh god, there we go. Don't know why he was scoused for a second there, but it was.
So yeah, thankfully, and touch wood, I don't think I'll ever be in a situation where I'll be hallucinating. But well, maybe if I'm on my deathbed, because some people see their loved ones who've already passed before them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're coming to invite me to the afterlife and stuff like that. Whether that's real or not remains to be seen. I'd have to die first to tell you, but like,
Yeah, you have to die to try. That's next week's podcast. It's
next week
titled "Die
podcast,
to
I've really
Try."
got a battery up to my nads, and James is going
Yeah,
to switch, and we're going to
I'll
see.
be here live. We're gonna record it, see what happens.
Um, but yeah, and thinking of like other cryptids and stuff, like I can understand why a cracker would be hallucinated, but it's like the more personal ones and more humanoid ones that get me because like think if you look at like Japanese folklore and like the kappa things that come out of the water and they've got like skinheads and like
Oh God, yeah. Don't they like eat people and shit?
maybe I don't know I haven't read too much about them but you've seen like paintings of them like enticing people in the water and like sirens and mermaids and stuff like if
Come on
those aren't
in.
real then how like why did they get invented like was there just some weird creep like living in a lake who had particularly beaky features who one day just ran out of the lake and tried to kidnap a little girl or something like
God, they are. Yeah, yeah, it's true. So, like, speaking of similar stuff, I watched The Ritual yesterday.
yeah
Don't know if you've seen that. It was all right.
no I haven't seen that
It was all right. It was about like a bunch of lads, bunch of laddie lads,
oh yeah
that go on like one of the mates dies, and they go on like a hiking trip that he had planned or something in Sweden. And then obviously like a bunch of weird shit happens afterwards.
Mhm.
Bunch of crazy shit happens afterwards. To do with like a Jotun,
Ah, okay.
like the
Big
no,
giant.
well, then yeah, they're kind of like giants, like old sort of like Norse beasts.
Yeah.
Um, like that was pretty cool and that was pretty good because I enjoy it when like as we mentioned last time, my horror movie preference is definitely stuff that could be real. I think that's the
Yeah.
scary stuff for me when it's like a nut job or like a serial killer or some shit. But I enjoy watching the stuff where they're like monsters and ghosts and shit more. Like I think that's just more entertaining content to me.
So, how did they
Um,
manage to make a horror movie out of like the main antagonist being? Oh, I assume the main antagonist being a giant, because doesn't that remove all the scares? Because you just
Well, this is the thing. You don't find out about it until like near the end. Spoilers, by the way, for that film. If it's from 2017, so I doubt anyone cares. But just so you know, just a little warning, so no
rub
one shouts at me.
spoiling
Uh,
this.
but yeah, it's like so they're on this trip, and then like they keep having a bunch of like weird visions and shit.
Yeah.
Then one of them wakes up with like some like bleeding marks on his chest and stuff, and they're all fucking freaking out. They find one of their mates impaled on a tree
Jesus.
like after a night of stuff like that. So they're just freaking out, like, why the fuck are we in this forest? Let's get out of this forest. This is horrible. This sucks. I hate it. Um, and then I think like they get captured by these people, and it turns out it's this like Swedish family that have immortality because they sacrifice people to this thing.
Okay.
Like so they like they sacrifice people to it. People that come hiking and that, and this big thing, this big fuck off thing is like, fine, I'll grant you immortality. But it was a decent little flick. It's less scary and more interesting, to be fair.
Not to bring up comics again, but that's literally the opening plot to Marvel's The Runaways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's set in Los Angeles, and all the runaways initially are the children of very wealthy and affluent businessmen and women and scientists in the community. And every year, every so many years, they all gather at one of their estates. So the kids are like shuffled off into a side room, given video games to play and stuff like that, so they can just stay out the way. But one
Have an
year,
orgy in that.
yeah, no orgies. One of the years they're just bored, so they just decide to snoop on the meeting, um, and they're expecting to find like just boring business shit. But they go into the basement, and their parents all wearing like ceremonial robes and like sacrificing a virgin teenager, and they're sacrificing them to a collective of like supernatural giants called the Gibberim, and in return they have their positions of like wealthy and they can I
That is
don't know
very
anything about
similar.
immortality, but yeah, and that's why they're runaways because like holy shit, our parents are killing
Yeah, we'll just get
people.
out of here. I do love me a good cult story. To be fair, I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like a good cult story is always like, I mean, Mandy's based around like a like cult shit as well. What were we talking about last time? It's cult based. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right?
Uh, we
Oh no,
didn't.
Bad Times at the El Royale. That's one. Sorry, Bad
Yeah,
Times at the El Royale. That's cult based, sort
yeah.
of. Yeah, like I don't know, a good cult story. Usually, I think they all usually have very very similar tropes, but they're always interesting. It's always
And,
interesting to see where it goes.
and why it's so compelling is because like cults can absolutely happen. You just need a bunch of like emotionally vulnerable people and a charismatic individual, and you've got a
Oh,
perfect
absolutely, they do
terror.
happen. They always happen. I mean, there's cults to the extent of like like the Manson family and like real crazy shit like that. But then there's also just like cults of personality and like just things that you wouldn't see as like a cult, but like a certain bunch of red hatted individuals.
Yeah,
It's the same kind of thing. I mean,
absolutely.
America's a death cult, so like as a whole at this point.
Well, yeah, but and I think one of the things that's interesting about cults is just like how they take. I wouldn't say reasonable because it's all unproven until you die, but like people's like very real religious beliefs, they'll take like 90% of it and warp the last 10%, and then they've got a bunch of indoctrinated people that would have
Oh, this is
otherwise
this
been
is how
regular,
like
I don't know, Christians, regular Muslims, whatever.
I mean this is how conspiracy theories work as a whole.
Yeah,
Is they take like this like really a little crumb of truth and then expand on it and make it like this bigger thing so that people think okay, because that bit's true, the rest of it might be true too. Like just because this bit's true, it's like with the whole fucking Q shit. Like, are there Hollywood elite pedophiles? Absolutely.
absolutely.
Is it a vampire cult?
No.
No. Like, do you know what I mean? But they add bits to it, and I feel like people add bits to it like Chinese whispers. People add bits to it over time.
I say this all
Like,
the time. Like everyone, when they find these, when they hatch these conspiracy theories and they look at the state of the world, and like these abhorrent people doing abhorrent shit, like the Epstein flight logs and all the people taking advantage of the services he was providing. Like it's not some weird conspiracy with otherworldly beings. They're not lizard people. They're not vampires. They're not from
yeah,
another
it's
dimension.
literally just
It's
rich
human
people
evil
who can.
and money. Like
Yeah, it's
corrupt.
literally just rich people because they can control any like narrative.
Yeah,
Basically, easy peasy.
I just think people don't like the idea of being the same species of people who do that sort of thing, but you have to confront human evil. That's the theme of
Yeah,
today's podcast: confront human evil.
that's the thing. Is like it's very much like this is just real stuff that happens. Absolutely, but people add this like element of fantasy to it, and it's like I don't know if that makes you feel better because you think it is some like otherworldly, you know, beings or some crazy like magic cult or whatever. But it's straight up just rich people like just doing real evil shit. Like that's it. That's all it is. And
Yeah.
but that's the dangerous part about it is I think people are so willing to like believe in the extra bits because I guess it makes them feel better about it. I don't know, but people are really, really willing to just believe this extra stuff, which makes it extra crazy.
Mhm.
Like, and as you say, you put some charismatic individual in front of that who can probably convince people regardless, like just
Yeah.
of their opinions, like being correct, and then damn, you got some shit going on there. You really do. It's
Circling back around to giants, though, have you
good.
seen Troll Hunter?
I haven't, and thank you very much for reminding me about that because I'm going to watch that tonight.
It's such a good
I heard
film.
it's very good.
It's so good. Apparently, because one of my friends who is from Norway told me that the main guy in it, like the troll hunter guy, because this old like disgruntled guy who like takes these kids to see like trolls and stuff and like where they are and stuff like that. Apparently, he's a comedian, but he plays the role so like well. And it's such a good film. Like it's so much fun. Because I'm not usually into that sort of stuff, but my brother's like really into like just stuff like that. Trains and trolls for some reason. That's his hobbies.
Trains and trolls.
But like or anything like here, like stuff like War of the Worlds and stuff, just like big imposing like tripods and shit like that. And he was like, "Oh, I really want to see this film." I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you, whatever." Yeah, it blew my fucking mind. It's so good. It's done on such a low budget as well, but it looks so fucking good. But
I
yeah,
am going to watch that tonight
I,
for
I,
sure.
give Troll Hunter enough plaudits. It's such a good film. But what I wanted to do, now that we're back on the cryptids,
Go
is I
on.
have a list of cryptids with like some of them have descriptions and stuff like that. So we're gonna
Lay 'em
go.
on me.
Yep, we're gonna go down the list, and I want you to rate the cryptid out of 10.
Out of 10. Well, all right, okay. Let's do it.
All right. So the first one we have is an Atamaha Ha. I imagine that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Some people just call it. Oh, yeah, no, it's an Altamaha. So other people just call it an Alti. Not to be confused with Aldi. Um,
Aldi is like, to be honest, Aldi is a bit of a cryptid store.
yeah,
Because sometimes, when you go into Aldi and you go to those sections where it's like, just for some reason, they have the food section and they have just a weird weekly selection of alternate stuff,
yeah.
of like snuggies and like camping chairs and stuff like that. That's the cryptid section of Aldi. It's like, what is that? Like, why is that there? I don't know. So Aldi, I give a 10.
Yeah, Aldi's got a 10. But this one is a sturgeon or a plesiosaur like river animal, so like a water dinosaur looking thing, and it's
Yeah.
native to Georgia in the United States. Now I'm pretty sure a sturgeon looks nothing like a
Have you got
di-
pictures of these things that I can see?
yeah, I'll give you the list.
Go on, show me the list. I want to look at the pictures. The picture's the important part. There we go. All
Because I can
right.
see how people might think a sturgeon is a bit of a cryptid because they are quite big. They can get quite big.
It looks like just a really fucking big seal dinosaur thing.
Yeah.
I'm giving that. I'm gonna give that a 3 because
Okay.
it looks kind of cute, but it's not scary or weird.
Okay. So next one we have is a bear lake monster. It's just called a generic lake monster. No description of it. And apparently it's citation needed. So I'm just gonna lump all these lake monsters under the same sort of thingy mabob. So
Go
3
on.
for all of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Often
I mean,
in
uh,
Lake Erie, which is called Bessie, which is just sounds like a B Tech version of Nessie.
it does, doesn't it? It just sounds like someone's gone. Oh, the Loch Ness monster. No. This is the Loch Bess monster. This is Bessie,
Now,
not Nessie.
now, would you give Bessie higher than a 3?
Absolutely not. No, lower than a 3. Give it a 2 for its cheap naming. Simon Principal Skinner writes that book in it.
Yeah.
Billy and the Clonosaurus.
What?
What were you thinking?
Next one there is very misleading because his name's Bunyip, which would hint at it being some sort of ravenous bunny, but it seems to be just a lake and cave animal, and it's
It
depicted
looks
as
like a panther.
yeah, like a really large cat.
Yeah, like a seal panther.
So what are we thinking about the really large cat?
I'm gonna give him a 4 just because, like, in terms of originality, it's pretty boring.
Yeah,
But it's actually eating a naked person in the picture, so it gets about. It's a bit violent, and I like that about my monsters and shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Next one down is a Cadborosaurus, which sounds like a T Rex made
Cadbury's
of
chocolate
chocolate.
dinosaur. Yeah, exactly that.
It just appears to be just a bunch
It
of
looks like a
stuff tied
box.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. I give that a give that a 1 because the picture's it's a box with
I
a
thought
chain on it.
initially when I saw the picture, I thought it was someone planking, and then I can't decide what's meant to be the cryptid.
Yeah,
I think it's a black
is it the one?
slimy thing, which looks like a bunch of socks tied together, or you see it as a chain.
It does look just like a bunch of socks. I'm gonna give that a fucking 1 as well. It sucks.
Next up, we have the rather narcissistically named Champ,
Champ, that's a fucking 9 for me, dude.
named Champ Tanistrophus americanus.
Bro, the picture is just a fucking napkin drawing.
Someone don't see. Like,
It's just a little like napkin drawing. What the fuck?
next
In
down, we
fact,
have another Loch Ness
do that.
monster ripoff. This time called Chessie.
Look at the picture. Look at the picture on that. What the fuck is that? Like, why are
Gee,
these? Why is this got its own wiki article?
I don't know.
Oh
It's just
my days!
someone's just cosplaying as, I don't know, like
It's like a funky disco dinosaur or something. It's like, oh, like,
next one down.
oh
I'm
man.
very disappointed that there's no picture for it, but apparently it's a large jungle walrus in Western Africa, which, walruses don't live in jungles, to my knowledge. So it's quite unique in its terms of lifestyle choice. So what we giving Mr. Jungle Walrus?
Uh, I'm just. I mean, I thought we had 10. I thought you said we had 10 of these. Are we going through every single one?
Yeah, we are. You got one more. No,
Mate, there's too many of them.
we're only going through
I'm
the aquatic and semi-aquatics.
so I'm gonna say that, like, okay, aquatic, like, aquatic cryptids all suck,
Oh,
except for like maybe Nessie because it's like the OG, and the Kraken because it's kind of like, you know it's kind of a classic as well, and Champ because of the name.
see, I don't think you give it enough room for the giant anaconda known as the megaconda, which sounds like it's from a B movie that lives in South America.
Well, I'm not giving that a time of day, mate.
How, not even going to give a time of day to the Lagelfjord worm? No,
What are these? Yeah, yeah, like it's from Iceland. It's a. I'm just gonna believe it. If it's from anywhere in Scandinavia, then it's probably real.
it's a
It's probably
mugwump.
a real thing. Like they probably have this shit going on over there. I don't know. If you scroll down though, just scroll down. Look at the picture of Bigfoot that they used.
Bigfoot is a horse.
Like, look at that drawing though. That's like someone's like sexy drawing of Bigfoot. They've given him a really like masculine face. Like, this is the Bigfoot that I see in my dreams. I want him to carry me away. Like it's just a hairy like gorilla man, but with a really like masculine face.
It looks like a Winston from Overwatch.
It does. It kind of looks like Batista a little bit. Like the face is very Batista. Like, but when I think Bigfoot, I think Harry and the Hendersons. I know,
Absolutely, no, absolutely.
Mate, Harry and the Hendersons was fucking good. That's my Bigfoot.
How do you feel about
Harry
Mothman?
Mothman.
Yeah, there's a
Is
whole like
Mothman an actual thing?
yeah. So if you go down to the bottom section called Winged, there's an entire mythology around Mothman. Be a couple of sightings. It's just this imposing. I think Jeepers Creepers was loosely based on Mothman. Could be wrong, but it's the same sort of
God, that's fucking creepy. That I've just looked at pictures of it.
yeah.
So it's meant to be like just like a. Is it just a giant moth, a giant man moth,
I
a
assume so.
moth man, if you will? God, yeah, that's horrible. That
Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like bugs as it is,
yeah,
but like a bloke with a moth's face and claws and shit. Like I mean, not that moths have claws, but
yeah.
I'm not about that. That was a film with Richard Gere as well. Horrible. Get it off. No, no way.
Not
No
like a
way.
yeah.
Not about it. Not about it.
All right, so to wrap up
Go
the
on.
cryptid sort of thing, I have another question.
Hit me.
Who do you think is actually a cryptid but has managed to ingratiate themselves into human society?
Every single Tory and Republican politician.
Okay.
No, no. In terms of like actual like cryptid people, though,
Yeah.
people like Gary Spivey, like people that are just really just so like Uri Geller and stuff like that.
Yeah. Uri
Like
Geller's such a dickhead.
who bending me spoons. Cool.
Yeah, like
Cool.
aren't his politics like terrible as well? And he like
I think so. Can you imagine like Uri Geller in a situation where it's like Uri Geller's like, look at me, I'm psychic or whatever. If you're in a situation where you're just trapped by rubble or some shit, right?
yeah.
You're just completely trapped in by rubble, like Yuri, help! And he's just in the back, like, I'll bend this spoon, and we can maybe use it to scoop our way out.
But it's like
Yuri, what are you doing?
If
This is
if he
useless.
if he's not bullshitting and his cryptid powers is he can literally do stuff with his mind, why would you waste your entire life bending spoons?
Like that's all he does. Like every time, like, all right, Yuri Geller, you're on TV again. What are you doing for us this time? Well, I'm gonna bend this spoon. Ugh, right. Okay, what's different about the last time? Well, you see, this spoon is a little bit bigger than the last spoon that I bent. It's a little bit heavier as well, so it might take more of my mind power. Like, oh, okay.
Do you think he ever sits at home trying to do different things with his mind and he just can't? Did he get him really frustrated?
I mean, the thing is, like, he can't even. He doesn't even do it with his mind anyway. So, like, what isn't the technique that you just like rub the spoon like at the bridge?
I don't know.
But I remember looking this up ages ago because I wanted to learn to bend spoons when I was a kid. I wanted to learn to bend spoons when I was a kid, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure you just rub it like at the bridge of the spoon. Is it the bridge of the spoon? I don't know.
Yeah. The
And it like
nip.
heats it up so you can bend it. But I mean, like David Guest was probably a cryptid as well. I feel like a lot of these like eccentric celebrities that are really hard to sort of get your head around are probably
See,
probably some sort of mystic beings.
I think being a fan of wrestling and having watched so much of it, I'm fully convinced there's several wrestlers who are probably cryptids. Like Andre the Giant, lovely guy,
Oh,
but
he was huge,
definitely
wasn't he? Yeah, maybe he was Sasquatch.
maybe. Um, and just like people who, like those people who are really like skinny, but they're really fucking strong. And people are like, oh, he's
Yeah.
got that wiry dude strength. You're like, no, that's a cryptid.
No, that's like magical monster strength. What's his name as well? John McKittrick or John McKirrick or whatever he's called.
Doesn't
The
ring a bell.
the horse racing man.
Oh, okay.
The Brexit horse racing man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh, God.
he's 100% some sort of like being from beyond the grave. I've just looked at a picture of him recently. He's gotten dead skinny and he just looks like he's dead. Like he looks like he is dead.
But he's a Newcastle fan, so
Yeah, but isn't he also like
that's why.
isn't he absolutely horrible?
Absolutely.
But he's a Newcastle fan, so that makes up for it, boys.
Oh, yay, football.
Aye,
That's scripted.
aye. Oh my days! I mean, maybe we are. Maybe we are because we can point them out.
Maybe.
You never know.
I know I said I was wrapping this topic up, but I've just thought of another
Go on.
angle to look at it from. If our civilization just exploded and like aliens found us, what happens if like they misinterpret our data and they think Mr. Blobby was a legitimate cryptid?
I mean, Mr. Blobby is Mr. Blobby is one of those things that when you look at it and you think about who created this thing, like what was going through their head with Mr. Blobby? Like Mr. Blobby is a weird thing, isn't it? Like
Absolutely.
it's odd. Can you imagine what like the toll it would take on your mind playing Mr. Blobby as well?
Absolutely. You don't know where
Like
you end and Mr. Blobby begins.
yeah, it's just imagine like could you take the suit off at some point? Do you reckon there reaches a point where it's just like honey, take the suit off? And he's like, Blobby? Like,
I think
no,
there
stop
definitely is
playing
a
around,
point
take it off.
where you don't want to take the suit off.
Yeah, like you just
Because you
become
can
it. You
do
just like,
whatever
I
the
like
fuck
this.
you
Like,
want. You can run into a public place and just dive on people's desks like
and it was just like, oh, it's Mr. Blobby. Here he is.
a dentist and just high angle body press the receptionist stationary just off the desk. And everyone's like, oh, fucking Mr. Blobby. But if you did that as a regular human, you'd get arrested. The
My
power.
favorite Mr. Blobby bit is the one where he gets told he's not going on holiday.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that one,
I have
but
not.
he gets told he's not going on holiday. It's like I'm going on holiday, like Noel's going on holiday, whatever. And Mr. Blobby's like he's got all his stuff, he's got his suitcase and that,
Yeah.
and it's like, mate, you're not coming. You're not allowed to come with me, mate. and it's so fucking funny because he's like all sad and like moping and going up the stairs,
Yeah.
and then he just face plants a wall. He like just dives, like he just takes his feet off the ground and just dives head first into like the wall. It's super funny the way he does it. He just like flops there, like what the fuck is going on here? Like, why are you doing that, Blobby? I've just sent you the clip. It's a 50 seconds. Go to 50 seconds in that clip. Like he just full on dives into a wall. It's called Mr. Blobby. You can't come to New York if you want to check it out for yourselves. It's I this is like British culture. This is what we have. This is our culture. There's this big pink man that just jumps into shit. This is it. This is what we have.
You just Luigi missiled into the
Yeah,
wind.
that's the thing that's funny about it. Just the way he just sort of like flops into it. Like, fuck it.
It must be so much fun. I'm
Oh god, yeah,
assuming
that suit must be like
the
he must.
irreparable psychological damage you must endure to
Oh,
be Mr.
oh,
Blobby must be
100%, 100%. Like, just imagine doing like multiple takes with that as well. Fuck me. Like, just in that suit, saying nothing but like blobby, 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 and just his voice. Why did they make his voice so like horrifying?
I don't know, but I can definitely see if our civilization collapsed tomorrow and like the remnants just discovering Mr. Blobby and then it becoming an urban legend. And if you don't behave, Mr. Blobby's going to come round and just fuck up your birthday party or some shit.
Like, I think with Mr. Blobby, right? Mr. Blobby is not a monster or anything like that, right?
He's a reflection of humanity's sins.
But the voices. Like, I reckon Mr. Blobby is like, just a character, just a guy in a suit or whatever.
Yeah.
But the Blobby voice is like some kid that's possessed by a demon that they have like locked up. And they record the voice because that's what it sounds like. Ruby! Like the echo on it and stuff. That's my BBC conspiracy theory. You'll see me down there with Corbyn's brother next week outside the BBC.
Well, I think on that bombshell,
Yeah, just don't arrest me. I'm not actually kidding. That's weird, that isn't it? How like Jeremy Corbyn's brother is just like off his bean.
Yeah.
Like he's conspiracy man. He's really into it. It's really weird. It's really really weird. Oh, you can't have it all, eh?
Certainly
Can't have it
can't.
all.
All right. So, what are you up to in this going week, pal?
I'm moving. I am actually going home. I'm going back to my parents' place. I'm going back to the UK, Britain, just in time for everything to fall apart.
Nice.
But yeah, I all my stuff gets collected on Tuesday, which sucks because that means I have like 3 days of doing nothing. Whatever people without computers and without video games do for 3 days.
Read a nice.
Which I mean, I might. Yeah, I do have a couple of books I've not read. I might I might just read. Fuck that. But I'm also thinking about getting a haircut. That's my week. I'm moving house and I might get a haircut. No, other than that, yeah, I'll be on stream. Probably the next. I mean, when this episode comes out, there won't be any more streams for the week. So there's no point in me saying that. But like, when all my stuff is back, which hopefully should be soon. Hopefully by next weekend. Actually, I'll be back on. I want to do a Halloween stream, but I don't know if I'll have my PC.
Yeah.
I do have a Halloween costume though. I actually ordered a Halloween costume just because why not? Why the fuck not? But you can catch me as always, twitter.com/JimothyTV. You can also get me on Twitch. It's JimothyZ on Twitch. As I say, as soon as I've moved, as soon as I'm settled, I will be there. I will be cozy at my parents' place. I'll be back to streaming again. Looking forward to sort of having that just sort of move done, like I'm in this mental spot right now where I feel like everything that I want to do is just relying on me moving because I know it's coming up. Yeah, so hopefully when that's done, yeah, we'll be live and kicking again. And I'll obviously, I'll still be here to record next week. So
nice.
Yeah, very nice. What about you?
Just plugging away, doing my articles. Had having fun playing the new Pokemon expansion.
Just having fun, being chill, you know.
You got a fucking problem with me having fun being chill?
Yeah, I have a problem with you being fun, mate.
I'm gonna go
Don't think
Mr.
you're very
Blobby
fun,
all over you, mate.
huh?
Nothing. So yeah, you can catch me on Twitter. Statue UB? Yes, that's my handle, my official handle. And all my articles on comic book resources on cbr.com. Let me get the link again. I didn't come prepared.
We never do. We never do.
So it's cbr.com/author/gwalk. That's GWALK.
I think the most preparation we ever do for this podcast is like, should we talk about this? Yeah, that's about it.
I
Like,
scream for 20 minutes beforehand just to get my voice ready. But yeah, I got some
just
good
yell.
stuff on there. Recently got published. Did a retrospective of the Immortal Iron Fist 7 Capital Cities of Heaven, the storyline,
Ooh,
which is like a Mortal Kombat tournament.
that's the
Um,
juice.
some things, an article on Annihilation, which is my favorite cosmic story of all time, when Ultron tried to take over the universe using what is equivalent, the Marvel equivalent of the Borg. And yeah, just fun stuff. Always informative. I like to teach people things about comics, like the ludicrous things that happen, because it's fun.
Real good shit. Fun vibes. It's Halloween next week,
Oh,
so you know if you guys are doing anything, because we won't see you before Halloween, right? Like this is we won't see you before Halloween. This is the last time we'll see you before Halloween.
yep.
So if you are doing something, stay safe. Don't be going outside. Don't be getting those big groups going.
Please beware
Um,
because you are in for a scare. So
yeah, and exactly. Look out for skeletons. Look out for ghosts.
look out for Mr.
Um,
Blobby.
look out for Gary
Look out for
outside
me.
your window.
I'm not particularly scary, but I do a mean super kick.
Don't look out for me though, because I'm gonna be stuck inside. I don't care. I won't be coming after you. Don't be scared of me.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of me. It's great. It's great. Anyway, as I say, enjoy your Halloweens.
Yep.
Get spooky. Have a good time, but be safe as always. Look after one another, as we were saying before.
Let's feed
And
these kids, baby.
yeah, let's
Fairshare.org.uk, baby.
feed those kids, baby. Vin Diesel. I just felt like saying it. Shout outs to Vin Diesel for
Shout out to
some
the whole
reason.
Fast Furious family.
Yeah. Next week we'll have Vin Diesel on the cast to talk about Triple X. I would love that. To be fair, if anyone listening is somehow related to or in contact with Vin Diesel, please send us a DM. We also do have an official Twitter account, D4C Pod. That's 4 like the number 4, not 4 like for you.
Yep.
It's like the 4 in phones for you, but not in the phrase for you. Yeah, you know what I mean. You get it. You get it.
Yep.
You get it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let you guys go enjoy yourselves. Carve those pumpkins. Have a good time. Thank you very much for listening. See you next time, folks.
See you guys.
Bye.